What are your areas of strength and what do you think you will be able to improve on?
I'm mostly enjoying in math how to solve the quadratic equations that what we're doing from last year to this year. So doing it by developing it. I still need to improve on how to present an equation in a graph, how to use the graph and how to read them. I think that's what I need to improve on. Here I did a presentation on the quadratic equations. There's an introduction on the quadratic equations and how they function and how they're like how they graphically can be presented. What's the quadratic equation? A quadratic equation is a polynomial. Okay, spelling. Polynomial equation of a form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a and b are and c are constant and a cannot be.
Il y a aussi plein d'artistes qu'on a étudiés, par exemple genre le cubisme, et on est en train de faire un test dessus. J'ai trouvé ça très intéressant. Je me suis dit que
In English. Okay.
And I told myself that it was pretty interesting the fact that like, you know, all the color basically mixing without going on everybody's like other territory here. Like there's the lines that are already defined and there's boundaries that nobody's crossing. So I felt like it was really interesting because like art is something that you find everywhere in your life. When you look outside, when you're in your room, when you're going outside with friends, etc. So I really felt it was really interesting to try and display all that through my art.
And why you have used the wavy lines?
So wavy lines, I decided to use them because I felt like, you know, nature. There's nothing that's perfect in nature. Like you're never gonna see like a perfect cube or something. So I felt like
the vertex represents the highest or lowest point, while the axis of the symmetry divides the parabol into two mirror images halves. Understanding how to the graphs these functions is crucial for visualizing their behavior. Application of
Can I ask a question? So in nature, how do you see do you see natural parallels? These curves that are in the
yeah, it's like on roller coasters. Or like the thing, the cup thing.
the Ferris wheel?
Yeah. Application of quadratic equations. Quadratic equations are widely used in various fields. For example, in physics, they can model the trajectory of an object under the influence of gravity. In economics,
So would that mean I can, if I drop this pen, it's being influenced by gravity? Where if I'm calculating its trajectory, as you said, does that count?
yeah. In economy, they help in maximizing profit or minimizing costs. Like you can calculate the maximum cost in economy and with like a quadratic equation. Also, they help. They just help. And also you can calculate the minimizing cost. Their application demonstrate the importance of understanding these equations in real-world scenarios. Solving quadratic.
ancient English cases, like for example in the 1400s, we can see that like the English language that's being used is not the same as the one that's used now. So that's really interesting because I can see how our words that I'm using every day were created and what are really their usefulness. Because language is not only like writing, etc., but it's also the way human beings communicate between each other. And I felt like it was really important because the base of whole society is based on communication. So I felt like English is really an important thing to master, and that this school is really helping me to achieve my goals towards this.
Topic.
And we did it.
What did you find that you were doing very well?
How to solve the
So for history, so
Sorry?
yes, history essay. So history is something that I never really liked at school. Like I was never passionate for history. And last year I really did not like it as much. But this year I'm finding more interest in it.
Yeah.
And like the more I find myself interested in it, I see that my grades go up. For example, last year I was struggling with like around 80s, 85s, etc. And this year my average is around like
Didn't do well in this, like what he gave us to do, as like we had to complete some phrases and like do conjugate, and I kind of was not that good on it, but I tried to improve from bien to excellent.
Very good.
In this one, I tried my best to do it, and he gave me an excellent because I did it right.
So,
I'm trying to improve also, but this is the both of the proofs that I got.
so what is the difference between the bien assignment and the excellence assignment?
So-
What did you do differently?
I tried to like read it more and understand what I had to do. Here, I kind of just like did it in a rush, thinking that it's l'imparfait. How can I say that?
Imperfect tense.
Imperfect tense. I needed to revise more to understand it, but I thought the first one I thought that I know, but I kind of did like some mistakes while doing it. Here I tried to understand it more and to like make him let him explain it to me, and then I can do
Okay, then we start with that, and after you
Yeah.
present it in a lot of things.
okay, I see.
Yeah.
So like the goal that I fixed was to get a 1500 or plus SAT score. So this score is really hard to get because it's like around 92nd percentile, and right now I'm at 89th percentile. I got a 1340. So I still have margin to improve, and I'm gonna take the SAT test in December. But I feel like it's really important for me to like keep working through it every single day after school, and even if it's like 30 minutes, what matters is not like the time that you dedicate to it, but it's more being consistent every single day. Because at the end, all those 30 minutes put together is gonna give you lots and lots of hours that you work on it. So this is a goal that's I hope we'll achieve by January 2025. And because
I tried like to mix colors and to make like something weird, but it will come back good because I love painting. And I tried to do that with this one. I wish I can bring the other one. I tried to do that with this one, and I did it with one last year, and it turned out like very good. My brother stole it from me.
So would this be called abstract art?
Yep.
Okay.
We're done from, okay. I have here an essay from history that I'm gonna talk about. Last year, I needed to improve in my writing on the essays in history and both English too. I used to get only like 65. Now I got an 80 in this essay, and I think I can improve more, but this is the evidence that I have of that grade.
So what did you do differently?
I did differently is start reading the book, start reading what he says and listening to what he says, writing notes, and trying to like understand better with like we have like Google, we have everything, and just the thing that I don't understand, I put it in my laptop and I will understand it, like redo it again, so I can get it, understand it better. And also with the prompts that he gives us, I tried to break them down, like the way that he showed us. I tried to break them down and take like the key points that I need to focus on writing my essay. That's what I tried.
Good. I'm glad you're transparent.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to English presentation.
And I felt like to like compare it, for example, to something that's really metaphorical, a burger. The limits are extremely precise. They help you to simplify everything. And at the end, when you manage to like finish your math problem, there's always also this like you're happy, you know, there's something that you feel. And I like wanted to like use the metaphor of like a burger because you're just like it's delicious, you know, like
Good idea.
yes. So you basically just work towards it, and when you eventually find a solution, it's always like better. You always have this feeling of gratitude. So limits are also have like uses in the real world. What I wanted to say is that, for example, roller coasters, you know, like what loopings, etc. They need to be safe for human beings to be able to ride on them. And limits help engineers know exactly how they need, for example, to slant the roller coaster in order for it to be safe and fun at the same time. Because
He's not
roller coasters are
cooperating
something that
with
can
me.
be
He's
dangerous
not
if
trying
it's
to
not
do
made
his
correctly.
work. And I feel like I am the only one who's working on it, and then you split us in like two parts. I did this presentation by myself. It was not supposed to be like that, but I had to choose myself first and to do it, so I can do a better presentation and like make it correct. And then there is an overview of like the historical context in the visit. Overview of the visit overall. When Claire came back to her hometown.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but tell me, why did you started off by saying that you're proud of this presentation? Why?
Because I feel like I improved this presentation. You stopped me in the middle of the first one. You told me to change the way that I speak. I was trying to speak like without a papers and like without reading from something. I was just speaking from what I learned in class, what I read in the play, and what we did like here when we discussed in our discussions. And we're gonna come back to our presentation. There's an overview of the visit overall and like the main characters and what happened in the visit. When Claire came back as like a wealthy woman, powerful, has so many things to prove to her hometown that she can like work on herself and she built her own self. She offers them also like an amount of money to kill the person that wronged her in the past, or actually to murder the person wronged.
And limits, finally, in math, when you work on math, you make a lot of mistakes. Like, it's part of the process. And like common mistakes that are made with limits is, for example, dividing by 0. When you divide anything by 0, it gives you a mistake because it's undefined. We cannot divide anything by 0. So when you work with limits, you need to be careful with this mistake, because as soon as you do it, you have to redo your whole calculation. So like that's something that we basically all do, and it's mistakes that happen a lot. I did them a lot. But with time and practice, it just becomes like you start to like see when it happens, and just in order to avoid them. The second one is asymptotic antics. So it seems hard to understand, but an asymptote is, for example, let's go to this graph. Let's say that if you had an asymptote at this line here, it's basically gonna mean that here, your graph is always going to get closer to it without never touching it. Okay, so that is not the case here, but you can imagine like an invisible line where no point is going to cross it. Okay, it's going to be a line where there's never going to be an exact value for this line.
Yeah, and then I'll also improve on if I don't come to school, I will have like to call as like a Zoom call to look on manage back. Yeah, I will.
Thank you very much, Khadija.
You're welcome. We can wrap it up right now. Oh. So here there's the SMART goals that Mr. Francois forced us to write.
Okay.
Take two. Take two.
Here are my SMART goals.
Okay, here are my SMART goals. The first thing I wrote, I didn't think of it, I just wrote it. I was like, to be better in English as a subject, and also the way that I speak. I will track your goal must be measurable. How will you measure your progress? I'll track the progress I make through my goal by learning. My goal is, I didn't do this.
What's the R?
The R is achieving this relevance.
Why is this goal important to you?
It's important to you because
To you, not to me.
to me, I'm talking about myself. To me as a student, I need to learn so I can manage my other goals that I have in life and my future. Yep. I wrote that I will achieve my goal by the 2nd of November, which I kind of achieved half of it. Not yet. Did not finish. Did not achieve all of it, but planning on that.
Good.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.